Okay, I'm going to talk about steroids in baseball history and how the steroid era of baseball deserves a place in the Hall of Fame. Steroids have been around since like the 1960s, and they haven't been really in baseball since like the late 1980s. And any player who has taken steroids or has admitted to taking steroids is not to be allowed in the Hall of Fame. My claim is that they deserve a place in the Hall of Fame. And the best of the best players, like there are a lot of the best players of all time that have taken steroids and have admitted to taking steroids, like Alex Rodriguez, who's the quickest to get to 500 home runs, or Barry Bonds, who has the most home runs of all time. And they were all in the Mitchell Report, which Bud Selig, the commissioner of baseball, was who assigned Senator George Mitchell to write a report about and investigate steroids in baseball. And I don't think they should be ignored. They're each player that has been in the report has been there's voting to get into the Hall of Fame, and there has not been one player yet to be inducted. I think they should have asterisks next to their names, like they should be inducted, but have asterisks next to their names. And in the Hall of Fame Museum, which is in New York, Cooperstown, New York, they have different sections of the museum of like baseball throughout history. Like there's a section for women history, which who were playing professionally while men were in the war, World War II, and the Negro Leagues, which black people weren't allowed into Major League Baseball. They were segregated against. And I think they should have a separate section for people that have taken steroids, because it did happen. And it completes baseball history. They should have their own section, because if they don't have a section, there's nothing to learn from for future players that who are deciding to take steroids or not. And there are other players that aren't allowed to be in the Hall of Fame because there's always scandals surrounding them. Like Pete Rose, who has the most hits all time, and he's not allowed to because of gambling. He gambled on games he even played in. And to restate my claims, the best players should be in the Hall of Fame. Even though their stats are flawed, they should have their own place, and with an asterisk next to their names. And the history of baseball will be fully completed if they are allowed to. And that is it. Thank you.
All right, Michael, you clearly state your claim. It's a value claim, though, and you need a claim of fact. I think maybe a claim of fact that says the failure to include these people in the Hall of Fame would hurt the history of baseball or would have some negative consequence or diminish the importance of the Hall of Fame. Maybe that would have been a way to go about finding a factual issue to talk about. There's no layout of what the supporting structure is going to be at the beginning of the speech, and most of your argument is really a personal opinion about what would be appropriate. You've got a suggestion for a policy argument, and you're using a value to justify it, but those values are all your own perspective. I think you've got a few examples to illustrate those points. The best part of the argument, I thought, was the analogy that you made to the other wings of the Baseball Hall of Fame, the idea that, you know, look, they've got a special wing for the women who play, they've got a special wing for the Negro Leagues, that sort of thing, so they should have a special wing for the Lion, Cheatin' Bastards, you know, and, you know, we'll just call that the Lion, Cheatin' Bastards Hall of Fame, you know, so, which is okay if that's the way, you know, you want to do that, but you need to show that anybody wants that, or that it would benefit baseball in some way. You seem to suggest that they're going to disappear from history if they are not included in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not sure that's the case. You know, Shoeless Joe Jackson is not in the Hall of Fame, but everybody who knows baseball knows who he is. He hasn't vanished from those kinds of things, and so you need to tell us why having the Hall of Fame is important, why these guys being in the Hall of Fame matters, and why leaving them out would be a harmful consequence. You know, that's the way this speech needs to be structured. As it is, I mean, I know your opinion, and I know why you think this way, but I'm not sure that I'm convinced any more than I would have been if we were just sitting down someplace in a bar having a beer talking about it over the bar. I need to be convinced, and you need some evidence to be convincing on. All right, thank you.